Hi, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, Target Individual Experience. Pam didn't go to work today. Okay, she was like her stomach wasn't feeling well, and I believed her until um, she got dressed around uh, 11, and I said to her, I was still sleeping, and I woke up and I was like, "Hey, you're not going to work?" She was like, "I called in, I called out." And she's like, "I called out," and I was like, "Okay, wow." So Um, she just left not too long ago. It is a little after 1 minute to two. Because last night she was like, "Oh, I had plans later on." I'm thinking that okay, after work, right? But again, that's just my assumption. On top of that, um, but I'm still here. And again, she didn't tell me this until uh, very late last night. All right, I should say early this morning, like around after two. Between minutes of two o'clock and 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. All right, why? Because she wanted me to be here with the kids, so her date or whoever her person she's seeing can pick up here. And I was like, wow. So uh, I understand what it is that they're trying to do and how they're trying to use her again to basically create within, and we see this is happening. This is why a lot of our black women today, mindset is the way that it is, right? And when it comes to the the men that they have kids with, uh, they are, they're upset with us because they didn't listen. They're upset with us because their life didn't pan out the way it they're upset with us for telling them the truth. They're upset with us for um, how should I say, for not engaging in a in the thought or the idea that uh, you know we should be more feminine, right? So that's part of the reason. I always say that modern day women, what they're looking for, they're they're looking for masculine men, but not in a leadership role, but in a way how masculine men are providers, right? And they're looking for feminine men also, who they can say, well, I have a man in the house who cleans, who cook, who take care of the kids, this and that. Meanwhile, they are the masculine energy within that home, right? And when I saw them today, I just sitting there thinking, I was like, and I was just scrolling online, just looking at some stuff, and I said, what they're trying to do is again create, a psychological vagina between the legs of masculine men, meaning that like I'm a masculine man. Now I'm not in the position to be the type of provider that I should be as a man, but I take care of my kids. I take care of my kids, and even for her, I even do certain things for her, right? But again, I'm at this point in my life, I'm 52. You know, um, don't really haven't really for the past 20 years been targeted. For the past 10 years or so, not even 10 years, but going on 10 years, being probably about uh, being on disability. Okay, and so that has diminished me in terms of in her eyes, and this is what they do. And so what you see again, you see modern women, they will date men who may have more, but those men are not going to marry them. They're using them. They have a good time. Yeah, they may go out, they may go eating, dancing, what have you, but it comes down to just basically sex. Yeah, he may spend a little money on you because he can afford to. Okay. Meanwhile, me as a struggling man, right, okay, like she was like trying to lose weight. She was like, "Oh, I wonder how much weight I could lose, what have you." And you know, like I've always done, is to buy her certain things. And I recently bought her an exercise bike. I said, well, if you're constantly walking back and forth trying to, have you know. So I said, okay, you know what? I get an exercise bike. All right. So I went to QVC and found an exercise bike and bought it for her. See, but those things don't matter. Those things don't matter to them. All right. And this is why, like I don't regret doing those things because that's who I am. But I realized that, they're, again, being raised by a single mother who basically very religious, right? My mother's very given, and that's something that I take from her. Something that I sometimes I wish I wasn't so given, right? Because we end up meeting women who are the opposite, right? Who are takers, who are, um, you know, and though they may say, uh, let me rephrase that. When I was younger, right, and I was dating stuff like that, I never quite understand how, when, if things doesn't work out, the woman would turn around and blame you, right? She would call you a user. Meanwhile, when you go out, you're the one paying for dinner. You're the one buying her things, and she may buy you things on holidays, but you're the one that's consistently buying her things throughout the year. Okay, consistently giving her cards, giving her flowers, what have you, throughout the year. But they never seem to look at that. They never. It always got to be from their perspective, from their view. That's it, right? So when they, and again, this is what they try to do here in terms of being a TI, how they try to label you as being a user, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm a user. How am I? You know, how is that possible, right? I'm more of a giver than anything else, right? But they never seem to uh, you know speak the truth. It's always about changing the perception of who you are, creating a negative narrative of who you are, manipulating you, right, in the shadows, covertly, psychologically as well as physically as well as other means to create a certain type of mindset, right? And now that I've exposed them, so now what they're doing is trying to humiliate you, trying to make you feel a certain way, okay? And I don't feel a certain way at all. I'm comfortable knowing who I am. No one is going to redefine me in terms of who I am. I'm grounded in who I am. And as I say who I am, they do the sirens. Because you see, in our community, the black community, not the TI community, but in the black community, what has been happening is that there's been a shift. And the shift is a created mechanism and psychology within the minds of black women and men. And also, the mechanism is the psychological manipulation, the financial manipulation, the educational manipulation, the environmental manipulation. Okay? There's a lot that we don't quite understand as a people. All right, so I was playing a game the other day, which is on Xbox Live. One of the Xbox game that you can play is called Tokyo Ghostwire. And I'm playing this game, and it's about this guy who's looking for his sister. Somehow there's like a cross between the supernatural and the natural, and he has an entity that has taken over his body, or else he'll die, right? And in this game, you'll have the protagonist, and the protagonist is like, you are not you are not a savior, right? And when the protagonist, he just said the call on him, but when that was said, immediately followed by the police siren. So I want you to understand the level of control, the level of manipulation that they within everything. And I read this a long time ago. And again, I wish I can. The website is no longer there, but it talks about how the U.S. military, in terms of controlling civilian, in terms of engaging in psychological warfare on a particular target or group of people, right? They control their time, their information, everything. So they, through AI, which again the U.S. military has been developed, it is way more advanced than what we what we are made to believe today. All right, just like being microchip as a TI, remote neural monitoring, that sort of thing, right? That they have, again, people who used to work for these agencies these security agencies, law enforcement agencies, highly embedded in all forms of corporations, even game development companies. This is why they have the what seems that they have the ability to know every script of a video game. Like when I'm playing Fortnite, for example, every item that's placed that you mine, whatever you get out of it, they already know. And I'm gonna do a thorough video on this. I did a video before on it. I'm not sure if I uploaded it or not, but I'm gonna do a thorough video on Fortnite in terms of what it is that they do, how that they know that every item, like let's say I destroy a rock, whatever comes out of that rock, they already know, right? So again, the info is to have information on everything. And so again, this is what they do. All right, so we have to understand that. Yeah, the sirens. Yeah, I'm exposing it. So it takes out that supernatural element once you understand the truth. Once you understand how to use technology, how to engage in technology, how to develop technology in order to manipulate us. It's not just TIs, but it's people, right? And particularly within the black community, how they are destroying black leaders when they're young. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm a black leader. Who knows? I could be, could have been, right? But I want you to understand again in the FBI memo about the Black Messiah, about destroying the mindset of young black people, men and women, who they fear to be leaders, and also how they go back into your family background. So if you come from a family where you have a long line of civil rights leaders or activists, right? They are going to target you to nullify that way of thinking within you, right? You look at Dr. Martin Luther King, his kids. You look at Malcolm X, his kids. You know, any group of people who, if your parents were activists, they're going to target you, right? Now, some may not identify or recognize they're targeting because maybe they, for some reason, they have not fallen into the traps. But there are many of us who have fallen into the traps, right? Unbeknown that, again, it's not our fault. It's because they're going to be successful with some people and they're not going to be successful with other people. But it depends on the people who you are around. It depends on what sort of family structure and the mindset of the elders within that family, how it influence you, right? So even today, when you go on social media, particularly a lot of these, some of the media influencers that I talk about, content creator, such as the Crimson Curl, such as Chantal Simone, Dr. Boris Watkins, Dr. Uma Johnson, who else? There are a few others I can't even remember right now. Okay, and the late great Kevin Samuels. They have been targeted. There are times that whenever I go to look at a video from these content creators, it's always the police sirens. It's not in a way in which they don't want me looking at those videos, but in a way in which they're telling me that they're going to be targeting these. They have targeted these individuals. So when you see they're having issues with their stream, the quality of their stream because of what the people at YouTube are doing to degrade the quality of their videos, you know, this is why you know, like on my TI videos, I don't live stream. I do pre-record. That way, I try to make sure that my video is working. You know, audio is working. Because I've learned that when you're heavily targeted and you do a video, and if you don't constantly check your video feed, then even when you're pre-recording, right, not live, that they'll still manipulate your computer, the software, in order to mess up your video. Right? And this has been constant. And so also being here has kind of taken away that focus in terms of doing the video. So sometimes if I do go home, if I do a video, it'll be late at night. All right. And so again, that's you know, they know how to manipulate things and do it in such a way, again, to make it look as natural as possible, that so that you don't think that there's like another party involved working in the shadows against you. But that's what it is. And I remember years ago, a family member saying to me that, you know, Malcolm X's mother, she was born in Grenada, island that I was born, and she said to me that, you know, Malcolm X's mother is part of our family. Okay, and so that, again, I try not to dive into those things because I know that they put words and ideas in people's head to say things to you, right? And so when you're a TI, particularly if you're just recognizing you're a TI in your early stage of your targeting, you need to pay very close attention to what the people around you are telling you, particularly family members. When they disregard the things that you say, and when they're telling you, "Oh, don't worry about this, don't talk about this, what have you," pay close attention to what it is that they're saying to you, and pay close attention of the question that you're asking them, and also what your behavior is during the time of your targeting, and be very conscious aware of your behavior because you're being manipulated. Okay? Now they may make all these excuses because we know that they are technology which they're using to manipulate us, whether through changing our personality over a period of time, using silent sound to create a new personality. And again, when you are a TI, it is mostly negative. I would say mostly, well, all of it is negative, right? It's either to make you become a subservient uh, tool, a gatekeeper, sort of, if you're a black person, and to try to condition within you a backwards mindset, right? A backwards mindset in such a way that when you, in your mind, are believing, and I say believing, that what you are doing is going to real positive results. Like they may try to influence you with money, saying, "Oh, if you act negatively, but in the way how they explain it to you, or what they call they're conditioning you, you don't see it as being negative, right? What they're doing is giving you a false sense of power, right? But you got to always come back to the reality and look at and say, if I behave in such a way, will that have a negative consequences towards me or towards the people around me? And then when you sit down and think, not believe, but think, and look at the reality, then you will be able to make the right decision to which would not be detrimental to you and to the people around you. Now, this may not work all the time. It depends on the level of whatever it is that they're trying to condition you to, right? So, for example, how they manipulated me here today, right? For example, like I said, like Pam telling me that, oh, she has a date today, right? Whereas before she would tell me, a few days ahead, and that way, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here on a Friday. But because she wanted me here, and because they wanted me here to try to humiliate me, because again, when you stand for something, they're going to, something that's positive, that's going to affect you positively, they're going to do everything in their power to tear that down. Okay? Because you're not supposed to hold any core belief, right? You're not supposed to be grounded in who you are. They want you to become confused, like the vast majority of people in the society today. This is why, you have all these issues with gender identity and all this stuff. It's to create a confused society, to create a society that is full of people who are suffering from psychological psychosis. Okay? That way they can control you, whichever way. They can create division, however they want. And they did this with religion. All right? So we have to understand that. Anyhow, so when you see that, and I talk about this before where, when I would get angry, people targeting me, and I would show an angry emotions, they would have people around me pulling out stack of cash, counting it in front of me, every time I display those negative behavior. So if I was to believe what they were trying to subliminally tell me, then they would have created such a negative and hostile personality within me to make me believe that I would be rewarded. Maybe yes, because we see this negative behavior within young people today, where they're being rewarded, whether it be through the music, whether it be through the social media influencer program. You'll see them being rewarded for negative behavior, and not also that too, but you'll also see people who are, see, when you're doing good for someone, you don't need to show. You don't need to show it because you're more seeking praises than anything else, right? Now, I can understand if afterwards you're asking permission to the individuals that if it's okay for you to success, right? And if you're doing it in a way that you're trying to influence others to help people, right? But this is not what they're doing. Most of the time, it's for self uh, uh, praise, right? What they call self grandiosis. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, right? So again, understand how we all are being manipulated, right? And like I said, once they know that you are grounded within who you are, and they try to pull you in different direction, and it doesn't work, they're going to keep attacking you even more. There's a video called uh, how they create mass psychosis within the population. It's a website called the Academy of Ideas. Very good website. Now lately, I haven't watched too much of their channel because again, I think they're being manipulated, right? But if you look at their older videos going back to like a year ago or 2 years ago, they're basically on point in their messaging. All right. Anyhow, so I will speak to you guys on the next target individual video, targeted individual experience. And remember, always stay true to the good that's within you. Don't let them manipulate you into thinking that there is rewards for behaving and thinking negatively. Remember, there's a perception they want to put out there of who you are. Okay? And because they have the ability, the power, the resources to define you to others, you have the power and the ability to define yourself, not just to who you are, but to others when they come in contact with you and they speak to you. And this is why, again, they try to isolate us. Like, for example, they've been, oh, if I forget, so now they've been example, now what they're trying to do is saying that if I stay home, don't leave my home, then I'll continue to get my disability. See, I want you to understand that once you are making a difference, once people are seeing who you truly are, once people are understanding that you have knowledge that can help others, they will do everything in their power to negate that. All right? So, talk to you guys later.